Hey NASCAR fans, Shane Carlson here with you again this week after last weekend. NASCAR was in Talladega Superspeedway, and we saw a lot of good finishes there in the nationwide race and the Cup race as well. We saw Elliott Sadler break a winless streak that dated back to 2012. He went to victory lane on Saturday and broke a nearly 2-year streak of not being able to reach victory lane, and it's a big win because for Sadler, he moved over to Joe Gibbs Racing last year from Richard Childress Racing, where he had sustained a little bit of success, and he had finished second in the points for 2 straight years. And after going over to Joe Gibbs Racing last year, not getting a win and not being as close to winning the title as he would like to have been, this validates a lot of hard work that has obviously gone into the team in the offseason, and gives that 11 team a lot of confidence moving forward this season, knowing that they can win. They have won already this season, and that they can contend for a championship like they should have done last year. So that's a big win for Elliott Sadler and that 11 team moving forward. As well as on Sunday, the 11 team in the Cup Series won as well, which was Denny Hamlin for Joe Gibbs Racing. Hamlin is he's had a couple interesting few months here to start the season, and even dating back to last season, he was injured at Auto Club Speedway early last year, was sidelined with a fractured L1 vertebrae, and so he had to sit out of the car for a while, and he was able to get back into it. For a while it didn't seem like he was near as competitive as he was, and he just wasn't because he didn't feel 100%. But he did manage to win the final race of the season last year in Homestead, and then moved in and took that momentum into Daytona this season and won everything but the race there to start out in February. And he's had an up and down season to start the year as well. He actually had to sit out in another race this year because of he had a piece of metal in his eye, and so that prevented him from being able to compete at the level that you need to be able to compete at. So he's had an up and down season, but the win on Sunday for Hamlin is kind of like Sadler's in the Nationwide Series. Just kind of validates that he can be competitive again, and because I'm sure there were questions in his mind and other people's minds about whether he can actually get back to victory lane in the Cup Series, whether he can be competitive again and contend for a championship. And so I think that does a lot for Hamlin. Obviously, it's Talladega, and a lot can happen. So I think both of those teams, Sadler in the Nationwide and Hamlin in the Cup Series, would both love to add another win before the summer's out, especially just to further prove that, yeah, we did win at Talladega, and yeah, that was skill. But we can also win at different tracks too, on different configurations, like take a mile and a half or something. Joe Gibbs Racing has always been pretty solid on those configurations, and I think to add another win at a track like that would just further their argument and further their case and challenge for the championship this year. So that's kind of what happened in Talladega in a nutshell. It was kind of a wreck fest. So yeah, and then so I'll preview Kansas now. We're going to Kansas this weekend. Nationwide Series is off, but the Truck Series races on Friday, and the Cup Series is going to be racing Saturday night. And so Kansas is a track, it was recently repaved, so there's not a whole lot of grip in the track, or there is a lot of grip in the track, so the cars handle pretty well. And after a couple winters in the Midwest here, I think the track starts to wear out a little bit, starts to get a little bit more racy. You're able to kind of move the car around a little bit more. But it's one of those tracks where it's got multiple lanes. It's an intermediate track, so it's got multiple lanes for racing. You can you go all the way to the top of the track and use the bottom of the track as well. And then with the added grip levels, guys are going to be moving all over the track. So and it's a race where you generally get a couple long green runs in, and so as the fuel load burns off, handling is going to become a problem, just because the rear of the car gets a little bit lighter, a little bit harder to handle. I think tires shouldn't be a huge problem, but it's a very aero-dependent track where the air plays a lot into it. And then fuel mileage as well, as generally is the case on each intermediate track that NASCAR goes to. Fuel mileage generally plays at least a little bit of a role into it. So that's kind of what I'm going to be watching this weekend in those two races. And my fantasy picks this weekend for the Truck Series, it's hard to pick, for me at least, it's hard to pick a winner in the Truck Series because there's only been two races, and it's so hard to get into a rhythm when you're only racing once every 2 months or whatever it's been. They've only been to Daytona and Martinsville, I believe, yeah. And so, I mean, two totally different tracks. We haven't been to an intermediate yet with the Truck Series, but with that said, I think I'm going to go with a rookie in Ben Kennedy. He is actually the great grandson of NASCAR founder Bill France Sr., so I think that would be pretty cool if he got a win in the 31 Rheem Chevrolet. And in the Cup Series, I'm going to go with the 48 Jimmie Johnson. 10 races in, and he still hasn't won a race. It's kind of hard to believe, honestly, and he's not even in my top 10 in the power rankings. So I think the 48 team is got to turn this ship around pretty quick here because chase spots are filling up. I still think he's going to make the chase. I don't picture a chase ever without Jimmie Johnson in it, but it's starting to get to be the time where you're wondering when he's going to get that win, and I think it happens this weekend. You can't keep Jimmie Johnson down that long, so he's going to be my pick for Saturday night, and that's what I got for you guys this week. Thanks for watching. Check out the website there at fullthrottleweekly.net and take a look at the power rankings, and I got previews and recaps up there, and just let me know what y'all think. Thanks.